Who heard? Sorcery, deceptive descent. Everyone knows that before the Holy Quran, certain groups among the followers of previous divine scriptures altered them to serve their own purposes. Such minds are described as being under sorcery, deceptive descent. According to the final law of the Quran, such individuals are given respite, yet through that very delay, they are gradually driven towards the divine punishment of Allah. The meaning of ISTADRAJ, sorcery, is to bring to a consequence step by step. The concept of this word in the Quran is that Allah the Almighty continues to bless a disobedient and rebellious person with apparent bounties and successes, even though for that person this is the gradual knock of impending stepwise punishment. When a person ignores the truth within and begins to regard worldly honor, power, and fame as success, this very deceit becomes the beginning of his downfall. The inner self raises a silent protest, the light of the heart grows dim, and the river of tranquility runs dry. The command of Allah Almighty is, we shall seize them gradually in such a way that they will not even realize it. Surah Al-Qalam, verse 66. A few signs of Istidraj are described as follows. Number 1, a deceptive sense of satisfaction in the heart despite disobedience. Number 2, the loss of passion for worship and servitude. Number 3, the heart's softness turning into hardness. Number 4, arrogance and conceit reflected in speech and behavior. And finally, number 5, envy, evil eye, and hypnosis or mesmerism are in fact the poisonous waves of the inner self that cloud the mental atmosphere. Their effects directly disturb the nervous and physical systems. The principle of the evil eye is that the mind is focused on a single point while sending out negative vibrations. For example, if someone admires another person's possession or ability, the thought keeps revolving in the mind. Why does he have this? The poison of such thought takes effect, giving Satan an opportunity to spread his carpet. Similarly, the act of hypnosis or mesmerism is essentially a form of mental domination, in which a person, using the power of focused thought, freezes a specific scene or image onto another person's consciousness. Eventually, the individual becomes oblivious to reality and is compelled to perceive the artificial image instead. Once the mentor said, some people use negative tactics to make the minds of others their own domain. From a spiritual perspective, experiencing Istidraj and possessing the ability to repel it serves as a record of one's inner self. A person endowed with enlightened Azeemi consciousness is one who, with the light of discernment, encompasses every consciousness, evaluates each matter, and claims the truth for himself. In one sitting, the mentor said, all human knowledge is like a thumb-sucking child compared to the knowledge of Iblis. This means that Satan possesses, to a certain extent, knowledge of quantities. It is on this basis that he plays with us, casting doubt that disturbs the balance of inner quantities within us. A person who possesses the ability to transform destructive quantity into constructive one is a true human being. A person of weak consciousness grows weaker by attributing his circumstances to magic or evil influence. On the path of Sufism, the seeker must inevitably confront and conquer the forces of falsehood. Therefore, it is absolutely essential for the seeker to possess strong nerves. One day, the mentor spoke to me in a slightly subdued tone. I tell someone to awaken, and they fall ill. Some permission individuals during spiritual recitations are temporarily caught in agitation and distress. These are the initial stages of the inner spiritual battle. The seeker should not fear these phases but remain steadfast, for this is the very place of trial and the conquest of the inner self. The mentor once addressed a gentleman emphatically, saying, "Sir, one must fight the devils, and one must prevail." Today, the general consciousness has developed an increased propensity to accept negativity. When evil is presented under the guise of goodness, it no longer appears as evil, but it remains evil nonetheless. Deceptive people under the banner of Sufism use negative abilities to deceive innocent individuals. There is absolutely no place for sorcery in Sufism. The misuse of any ability is an overstepping of one's limits, which leads to the loss of transcendent powers. Those endowed with true knowledge operate under the influence of prophetic wisdom, harnessing the forces of goodness in the service of God's creation, and they expect no reward or praise from anyone.